welcome back. Now that you know how the roads are looking at a couple of minutes past 6 o'clock, things change within the hour, and that's why we'll be giving you another update just to make sure you know which roads to use, and of course, most importantly, as you like to say here, which roads to avoid. But right now, it's time for us to go through the big stories of the day. It's time for a newspaper review this morning. As always, before we get to my panel, we'll look at the front pages of each of the dailies and see what the discussion tone is set for this morning. We'll start off with the People Daily's front page. Where is the cash? The People Daily asks. CBK grapples with missing 7.4 billion Kenya shillings. Governor declares demonetization was successful, as opinion among financial experts is divided on whereabouts of money, with others saying some of those targeted may have opted to keep it. That's a story that you can get right there, and it's a front page of your People Daily this morning. Front page of the Daily Nation. Murumbi land ownership row haunts Ruto. Lobby has written to the DCI, DPP and EACC seeking to have the Deputy President investigated over what they're calling irregular purchase of a 900-acre parcel of former VP's vast ranch. That's a lead story in your copy of the Daily Nation, and you can find it on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation therein. Front page of the Star. Governor's probe, bribery claims rock Senate Public Accounts Committee right there. Senator Kajwang, who chairs the Oversight Committee, rubbished claims and asked complainants to officially report this instance. As they say on the front page of the Star, some senators accused of demanding up to 20 million Kenya shillings. That's a story that you can get right there. Also, on the front page of the Standard, it's the same story as far as the demonetization exercise was concerned. Kenyans hold on to 7 billion shillings in notes. A central bank mop-up of old currency net 60 billion shillings. But questions persist over missing billions and suspicious transactions. That's what they're going with as far as the Standard is concerned. And also on the front page, Kipchoge's big race against time. World marathon record holder readies for the toughest run under 2 hours. Will he break the barrier? Starting today, we track Eliud's heroic quest to venture where no man has ever dared. Got really close the last time he tried that breaking 2, and they say this time round might be the charm, and you'll be definitely rooting for him that entire journey. And last but not least, of course, front page of the Business Daily. Contractor sues Kenya Pipeline Corporation for 13 billion shillings over frozen pay. Court papers say Lebanese company has not been compensated for payments it made to third parties in the wake of delays in pipeline construction. As you can see, lots to discuss right here, and the tone is money, money, money. That seems to be the big story as we wake up this morning. They did their successful demonetization exercise as far as the CBK governor is concerned, but the big question is what happened to the 7 billion shillings that did not get to the central bank. That and much more is what we discuss right here this morning. As always, your views invaluable as far as the review is concerned. You can tweet us at K24 TV. Tell us where you're waking up from and what you feel about the discussions we're having. Also, SMS us. Our line is 21222. Once again, the SMS line 21222. Let's get to my panel this morning. We have Gabriel Muthuma, political and governance expert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff.
Welcome once again.
Asante sana, thanks for having us.
And I know if it's a Thursday, you have to do your signature
of
swagger walk onto the set.
It's sana. Asante sana.
And of course, you have former Kakamega Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, this is second time's a charm.
Yeah, I'm privileged to sit right next to a man who is dressed like a duke.
Like a duke.
He looks like a duke.
The Duke of Nairobi share.
The signature pinstripe.
Dr. Harry.
Well, of course, dapper gentlemen all round. Let's start the People Daily's front page, shall we? Where's the cash? CBK grapples with missing 7.4 billion Kenya shillings. They say the exercise was a success. Yes. They managed to implement what they wanted to do. They're moving on. But the question still remains, so what happened to these 7 billion Kenya shillings, Gabriel?
Jeff, first of all, we were told it was 100 billion. That has actually, actually raised, my suspicion ways 100 billion, only to be told by CBK it was about 7 billion. If you asked me, I think it was a success. What I was expecting is, once this exercise is done, many people are actually looking to see, is there going to be inflation? Is the shilling going to lose against the dollar? Nothing of that has happened. So where is the 7 billion? It may, at this point, from where I'm seated, not appear as a lot of money given certain demographics, because the likes of there are certain ideas that you can bring to the floor. One, when you ask where is this money, remember many Kenyans will hold, like I have done, and I know it's a little bit, it's valueless now. People have kept that note
as
for some sentimental value. And Kenyans are known to do this. My uncle still has the money from Jomo Kenyatta. Where is he kept it? For sentimental value. Right. He'll go and show you, this is the amount, this is the money we used to. But the fact is, if you have that 1,000 note, now it is not legal tender. It cannot be used, so it's valueless. That is one thing. People have kept it for sentimental value. The other thing is you have so many people probably who've lost, you know, that money. You'll be cleaning your house one day and you find a Kalus 2000 that you lost somewhere. So there are so many ways that you can look into this. Yes, 7 billion at this point may look big, but given the demography, it may not be a lot of money, you know, if you are to compare. Note that it cannot be used for good. I mean, so many projects can be finished with 7 billion, but this is something that can be explained.
Okay, Dr. Khalwale, I'll bring you in on this as well. CBK Governor Njoroge had said that the campaign was successful, pointed out that it met his 2 key objectives, namely dealing with illicit cash flows on one hand, on the other, the counterfeits, of which the 1,000 shilling note was preferred option for, as he said here, cartels. When they started this exercise, Dr. Khalwale, you are up in arms and you're shouting from the rooftops that this probably is targeting a clique of politicians. Now that the demonetization exercise is done, in hindsight, was it successful? Do you feel that it met the said objectives of the CBK governor?
It's good it has come to an end. And in a trillion shilling economy like this one of ours, 7 point something billion is fairly small. Yeah. Number 2, it confirms what we said at the beginning, that this hyping was intended to play politics. In fact, we didn't have to demonetize. All we needed to do is to allow the new currency, or the new note, to circulate alongside the old one as it's slowly being phased out. But the attempt to demonetize was in itself political.
Right.
The countries that have changed their currencies in the recent past have not gone the demonetization way. You allow the new money to circulate along the old one. Let me just agree with my brother here. I was in Cuba, and once upon a time there was a very important man in Cuba called Ernesto Che Guevara. Che Guevara was never head of state, but money, they had a I don't know the name of the currency, they had a 5 shilling note in his picture, in Che Guevara's picture. So with time, because the guy died many years ago, with time, that money was removed. However, if you go to Cuba, that money is all over the place. It cannot buy you anything, but it is Che Guevara's money. So you might find that, as my brother said, we will get some 1,000 shillings around the place. Like I can imagine the blood relatives of Mr. Jomo Kenyatta would not want to lose that money. A guy might say, I want to keep 10,000, 100,000, a million shillings of my grandfather's money.
So you feel it might be sentimental value?
They would keep it, and there would be nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
So we've learned a big lesson, that always you should keep politics out of technical issues and allow things to happen in the normal manner.
But let's interrogate that further. When you said that it definitely took a political angle when they decided to give it a deadline, for them they were saying the only way to actually force these people who had illicit cash to, you know, play their hand was to give them a deadline. If they didn't do that and they were going side by side, whoever who had illicit cash or who was counterfeiting money knows that he has 2-3 years to plan how he'll do it. Why did you feel there was politics in how they decided to carry it out?
You know, there was an unpronounced attempt to drag the name or names of some of the politicians. I remember in some of the public functions that we've had an opportunity to go to, mainly empowerment programs or charitable interventions where people need a bit of support. If you go on social media, the moment you say that I was at such and such a function and I donated 10,000 shillings, they say, you are cleaning your money. So that was a politicization which was not necessary. And if they thought they were doing anything, then how come that they have not gotten a single thief who was actually doing that criminal stuff? And I want to take the blame right to the footstep of the president. The way the president did it on day number 1, he's making a speech and does something which was completely unprecedented. He then invites the governor of Central Bank to then address Kenyans about the new money. That was in itself wrong. Yeah.
Okay, and of course, even as we talk about that, another revelation that was made is that even after the exercise has been carried out, there are a couple of bank accounts after all of these transactions happened that the financial authorities will be following up on. I think around 3,000 bank accounts. Yeah. So they've done this first phase, but now for the people who found ways to get their money back and some activity that was irregular was flagged, now the investigation starts. Do you think that probably by December...
Jeff, can I tell you something? You know there's no law. And Mheshimiwa is here, he was in Parliament for you know there's no law that hinders you from keeping money in your house.
You can keep as much money as you want under your mattress?
Yeah, and there's no law. There's really... So the question that we should be asking is, have you dealt with the vice? To me, that's the most important thing. If the issue was money laundering, if the issue was holding money, have you dealt with that vice? Because even with these new notes, people will start stashing it at their homes. So how do you deal with that vice? If you want to bring the money out of the woodworks and you bring it into what you would call clean money, where it will be circulating, which is good for the economy, and I agree. You still have not really dealt a serious blow to the fact that people will still continue laundering money. What systems have been put into place to ensure that this does not happen again? So as we talk about winning, because CBK actually, and I agree 100%, they've won this because the fact that we are told the former note did not have as many security features. This new one has more security features, which is good. And I agree again, the dollar has always done that, all right? So yes, we have a note that is going to be hard to fake, but also, what do we do with the vice aspect? Do we have systems and structures that have been erected to ensure that we are dealing with those monetary vices? To me, that would be more of a concern. Yes, it is good actually to go for these accounts. It is also good to ask, where are these, all these funny activities that are now appearing into these accounts. And it's good to question them. And, we should not, like Dr. said, we should actually divorce politics out of it and look at it, using, the virtual element of things today. Terrorists have actually made it a field day with playing with bank accounts. You saw what happened in Dusit. They used our systems, of our financial systems, to be able to move money around, and nobody was able to, to pick them out at that particular point. So it is good, and I commend the government for what they are doing. But at the end of the day, we must deal with the vice. And these vice will come only when you erect structures and systems to be able to catch out these things.
Another effect of the demonetization is the fact that we realize there's a very huge unbanked population when you look further out of the urban centers. Yes. And that's why we're looking, is it a public sector move or a private sector move in terms of that farmer in Kakamega who still believes in the money that is paid and anaenda nyumbani cash? How do you get more of them into the banking system, Dr. Khalwale? Because I think that was one of the things that really came out during this process.
In fact, that was one of the laughable aspects about the hyping of this demonetization. Because the governor of the central bank knows that only a small percentage of our business people, our public in general, has bank accounts. So as they were insisting that the money must go to the bank, how do you take money to the bank where you don't have a bank account? Just to emphasize what my brother said, he said that there is no law that says that you should not keep money at home. Again, there's also no law that says that you must take money to the bank.
So is it a legislation issue? Should you start with the laws and then now get private sector to follow up on that and get more people banking in? Should it be a law that above 10,000 shillings, you should not have that in your house?
Yes.
Should we go the legislative route for this?
You see, it is a process. Like if you go to Europe and the Western world, you'll find that a lot of people use, it is cashless. It's becoming cashless. Right. You use credit cards and so on and so forth. So the more people go into that kind of transacting business, the more they'll see the need to have the money which they are transacting to be somewhere in a bank account.
Right.
In fact, people are not foolish. People keep money at home, not because they want the money to be at home. They want it purely for purposes of convenience. You can see, for example, in mobile banking, a lot of people, including Mama Mboga, I've already gone into it.
Right.
Because it is convenient.
Right.
You want instant access to your money.
Right.
Look at one of the stupid laws that was passed when I was in Parliament. Yeah, I didn't participate in it, but I was a senator when it was being done by the National Assembly, where, and with good intentions, of course, where they insist if you transact beyond 1 million shillings, you should go through a very long process. Right. Okay. You are inviting people not to keep more than 1 million shillings, to keep money at home, because when you need 5 million and you want to spend it quickly, you don't want to go through that long process of declaration and what have you. So people are forced to keep this money at home.
But let me challenge that just a bit on the large transactions. Some people might say, if you need 5 million shillings for something that's legitimate, Dr. Khalwale won't mind just walking in and saying, I needed to buy this brand new car, there's a logbook, there's everything, so please give me my money. For those who don't want to declare, there might be a sinister motive as to why they want large sums of cash without declaring what it is for.
Unfortunately, that is not the way life works. Not everybody, including yourself, wants the whole world to know what you're buying. There are many people who would like to buy something, but they don't want anybody to know that that particular thing they have bought is theirs. And this is why you see, for example, in huge properties, people choose to buy those properties in the names of companies, so that their name is hidden behind the name of the company. That's the way life is. I mean, if you want to buy, for example, you want to buy your wife a small gift of 20 million shillings, and the bank asks you to declare, and it goes into the public, and you're a public servant, and people hear that their MCA bought his girlfriend a gift of 20 million. I mean, it's very bad PR. So people would like to do certain things privately. Right. So, and this is why our laws should not be, at least as far as doing business is concerned, our laws should not be restrictive. Our laws should be facilitative, so that the people are facilitated to transact business easily. Okay, we're going to take a short break at this particular point in time. We want your views as well on this particular process. Do you feel that it actually managed to do what it was supposed to do in that particular aspect? Do you feel it was lacking as far as the demonetization is concerned? You can tweet us at K24 TV. You can also SMS us on 21222. Let us know your take on that. We're back with plenty more. Kibisho says Huduma number not mandatory. So for all of you who felt that you had to go and do it, well, the government saying they did not say you have to do it right now. It was on your own volition. We talk about that and plenty more after the break. This is K24 This Morning.